Welcome back to a new video or podcast if you're listening to us on Spotify or
Apple Podcasts.
we're everywhere. I'm Camille, if you don't know me,
I'm Calvin.
and we are two Americans who teach English online, principally me, and I rope Calvin into doing some videos with me because I like to record with him. He's funny and I like to hear what he has to say, and I think it makes it more interesting too. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Yeah, I couldn't teach English very well, so I'm glad that she's the face of Learn English with Camille.
And he is behind the scenes. So you guys, we have an exciting video episode, whatever you want to call it. Today, we're going to be talking about the reverse culture shocks that we felt when we went back to the US for 4 weeks, as well as why we love living in Europe so much. So a reverse culture shock is what?
It's when you go back to your home country where you were born or you feel most at home and you experience, it's not the same place.
Yeah, you experience a bit of like a, whoa, this is weird.
You see it in a new light.
So we're going to talk about some of those reverse culture shocks that we felt. And the first one that I remember, we get into our house because we have a house. We have some rental properties in the US. And so when we want to go back, since they're short-term rentals, we just block them off on our Airbnb calendar and then we know where we're staying. So we walk into the house and we were like, brr!
Yeah, it was so cold. It was like an ice box or a fridge.
It was cold. Calvin runs and he like turns down the AC to try to get some heat into the house because we're not used to having AC.
We don't have it in our house here.
Here in Portugal right now, yeah, no AC, no heat. And so that is one thing if you go to the States, and it's a blessing because sometimes it's 90 degrees, like 33 degrees Celsius, and it's very hot. And so you almost have to have AC in your house, but you don't have to keep it so cold. People keep their homes at like 69 degrees Fahrenheit, and it is just freezing.
Yeah, you leave your house, which is air conditioned. You go into your car, which is air conditioned. Then you go into a restaurant or a store, and it's air conditioned. So usually when we leave the house, we always bring a sweater because it's so cold in restaurants and stores.
Yes, it's true. And people from other cultures think that the AC in the house causes sicknesses, which I'm curious about your guys' opinions. Do you think that AC and just the hot-cold contrast causes the body to become sick? Our kids did get sick when we were in the States.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, let us know in the comments. If you think it causes sickness or not. We'd be curious to know.
Yeah. The second thing that we were shocked by was just the choices. I forget, like here, yes, we have a lot of choices. We go to the grocery store, there's a lot of options, but it's like next level in the US. Like we have 2 whole aisles just for cereal, like a whole aisle just for the types of chips that you want. So the overwhelming amount of processed foods was like, whoa, this is shocking.
Yes, very shocking. Here, there's maybe, what would you say, like 20 to 30 options total. Like, whereas America, it'd probably be over 100 or more in the cereal aisle. So alone, and then that's just cereal. Then you have, all sorts of drinks and all sorts of food. And I mean, I do like in America, they're always releasing new products to the market and being like, oh, I wonder if this one will appeal to the audience. So just trying the new flavors and stuff can be fun. But a lot of the stuff they do come out is more processed foods and artificial flavorings and
unhealthy.
Yeah.
Totally. Also, Amazon, we did some shopping on Amazon and the choices are like 10 times more compared to Amazon here. We get Amazon Spain and the choices are so limited. So there, I mean, the sky is the limit. Everything's on Amazon.
And it's sometimes same day,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Same day shipping.
Crazy. You order in the morning and your product is on your doorstep at like 2 in the afternoon.
It's like magic. I don't know how they do it.
I understand how it's become such a consumerism culture because of the quickness that you can get a product.
Yeah, you pretty much get whatever you want, within 2 days. So your house can get pretty full, which is why we went back and we realized, our house is too full. So we did a garage sale.
Which means just taking stuff that you don't want anymore and selling them out of your garage. We had way too much stuff. We sold over $1,000 worth of stuff, and I'm sure we donated $2,000 worth of stuff.
Printers and
books
food,
and toys.
Food, not food, clothes, games.
So we feel so much lighter. We even went through our attic, which is a space that you store stuff that you don't use much, like your Christmas decor or your suitcases. I had things that my mom had brought down from my Michigan house that they sold 3 years ago. I had like 6 boxes of old photos and things from when I was a child. And I was like, I don't want to keep this. It'll just sit in my attic. So we kept very little and we sold or got rid of most of our things. So now thinking of what we have in that house, I feel good because we don't have too much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be a shock going back, just the quantity of stuff that people keep. I mean, we think we're like bad, but we're not because people rent storage units. There are so many storage units that you can rent and put things in. Why? Just to keep it in storage.
Yeah, you don't have room in your garage. Your garage is full, your attic's full, and now you need a whole nother space. So, yeah, it's a little overboard for sure.
So if somebody collects an unnecessary amount, an excessive amount of things, we actually have a word for that. Do you know?
Hoarder?
Yeah, a hoarder. So somebody that just has so much stuff, but usually their house is literally like you can't even walk in it because it's full.
Stacked with papers and books and everything. Trinkets.
Yeah, that person would have like probably a psychological problem and need some help to be able to get rid of their stuff because there's deeper issues going on than just the stuff.
Yeah, because the reality is shopping gives you a high. It does something in your brain. It releases a positive chemical. So when you buy something, you're like, oh, this is new. This is great. And then it crashes. So then if you're relying on that for your happiness, it's going to be this cycle of I need another hit. Mm-hmm. And then your house gets full.
Which is like any addiction, right? Like food addiction, sex addiction, alcohol. You're just looking for that hit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. What about the vehicles in America? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember being shocked. I started filming from my iPhone, like all of the trucks. So we don't see trucks that often here in Portugal or Europe because the streets are smaller, our garage is small, everything's smaller. I would say everything is bigger in America. People have 2-car, 3-car garages, huge houses, big vehicles.
Yeah, definitely. I think like we were counting and it was like there was definitely more trucks than cars on this road. I don't know. It was kind of a rural road. So, there was like truck, car, truck, car. You know?
Like, what's going on? Yeah. Another thing, we were like, oh yeah, Americans actually are very patriotic because you would see the American flag on people's cars or outside in front of their house or hanging from their front porch or their doors. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it wasn't something new, but yeah, it definitely is. You don't see the Portuguese flag flying so often around here.
No.
Not so much, no.
So
probably the only place that we saw that level of patriotism was Turkey.
That's true.
They love to fly their flags. So
yeah, I wonder who's more patriotic, the Turks or the Americans.
We'll never know.
What else was shocking to us going back to the States?
Okay, another thing that was shocking was I think the level of customer service and politeness in America, and it might be because we speak English and here we're speaking Portuguese, so we don't. But I think actually it is true. Like our customer service is a lot more trained to be polite, and maybe they get paid better also. So that motivates them to do a good job and to treat people, I guess more politely.
Yeah.
Would you say?
That's true. People are like I recorded a lot of reels. I recorded a reel in the airport and I recorded a reel in a coffee shop. And of course they knew I was recording, so they're probably going to up their level of politeness. But in general, especially in the South, people are polite. They're really nice.
And some of the comments on those were like, that's not a real dialogue. They wouldn't be that polite, or things like that. And I'm like, actually, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I mean, I would be going for a walk in the morning and people would be like, good morning, hello, just down the street. Yeah. And I was like, oh, hello. You forget, people are really polite in the South. Mm-hmm. So that was true. One thing. Prices have gone up. We hadn't been back for a year and a half. And so going to the grocery store, I feel like I spent double what I had spent a year and a half ago. Gas prices had gone up.
They're still cheaper than Europe, though.
Yes, that is for sure. But I feel like everything has gone up. Everything just felt expensive. Mm-hmm. No joke. I went out with my cousin. We each got an ice cream cone, and I paid $20. Am I doing this? 2 ice cream cones. Like, what the heck? Like,
20.
Why is it so expensive? And then you forget it's a tipping culture, so you have to tip everywhere. And services are ridiculously expensive. I did some reels calling about the dentist, calling about the doctors. I mean, just to go for a dental cleaning is $250 to $350. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Here, I just went for 40 euros. Yeah,
just to get a washer and dryer repairman, just to get him to your house, it cost $85 and up to get him to your house, just to be like, oh yeah, this is the issue. You need a new one, which happened to us.
And let's not even talk about the pool guy. It's so expensive. Oh. We were spending like $1,000 a month over the summer to keep our pool running. So just services in the States are so expensive.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So culture shock, I think also going back, expecting some of my favorite restaurants to taste like they did before, and they just didn't. Like, I don't know if the food quality has gone down, if my tastes have changed, but some of my favorite restaurants were just like, not that great.
Yeah, definitely. Here we've been buying local produce and things like that, and some of the produce we would buy like in Aldi in America, just like a tomato, for example, like it just didn't have a lot of flavor. Mm-hmm. Like, whereas here, it's probably, picked about 5 miles from here or less, that'd be like 10 kilometers or so. And so much more flavor. Mm-hmm. And even from our own little plants, we have tomato plants. They just taste so much better. But maybe it's just our perception of it.
Maybe.
We're in love with Europe, maybe.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one last thing, this is getting maybe a little long, about the culture shocks is the hustle culture that America has. We died. No, we were so tired. Granted, we had to do a lot of things in 4 weeks. We wanted to see family, see friends, film reels, clean out our house, get rid of stuff. Yeah. We had like a lot going on. Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily a vacation in the United States. Our schedule was too full.
Yeah.
I burnt out in like 1 week. I was just like the rest of the time like, oh.
We hit the ground running, but I was like, we have to press through. I won't be able to film these reels.
Yeah.
So I was like recruiting like my cousin, my sister, Maddox to film with me because Calvin was like, I can't. Like, he was working on some projects for work. We were trying to go through our house. It was just a lot.
Yeah, I would say also our conversations, in almost every conversation, would kind of circle around to business or money or in that realm. I would say more than, conversations here. It could be the people, our friends there, but I think it is in general, just, it's the American way. There's so much entrepreneurship and people wanting to, increase their income level because, yeah, when you're an entrepreneur, the sky's the limit. You can open all these businesses, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword. So you can obviously prosper, or you can let it just overtake you and it becomes your identity. And so, yeah, I think can be an issue in America and a blessing.
Yeah. So that kind of wraps up our reverse culture shock. Really quick before this gets too long, I posted on my Instagram saying I prefer Europe to the US for life, and I just got so many comments. Why? The US is the best.
America!
Why? So I was like, okay, I'm going to just address it really quick in this video. We love Europe so much. The quality of life here is better. The cost of living is lower. Services are much cheaper. I have a house cleaner here. I cannot afford that in America. We walk everywhere. Like now that our kids are in school and we can walk them to school, just going to both of their schools and back twice a day, I get over 12,000 steps, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's true. We got here, we stepped into our house, we're like, this feels like home to us. Yeah, it's kind of everything that we wanted when we pictured our life with our kids in this season. And so it was kind of a nice confirmation. We like it. We liked our time in America. We were in our old house. It was comfortable. But yeah, coming back here, we definitely felt more like home.
Yeah, we love the ocean. We can see the ocean and the river from our house. Like I'm looking because I can see them right now, which is amazing. And we just feel like, yeah, this is home. Europe is home. The food quality is better. We love getting our fresh produce right at the market. We love being able to walk everywhere. I know I mentioned that. We love speaking other languages and raising our kids in a different culture for that experience as well. So those are a few of the reasons, but we just love Europe.
Yeah, and I understand like a lot of people that are looking towards America as this place where their lives can change. And for us to speak on this, we're saying this, we're living in Europe, but our income is from the United States, And so, we're definitely getting the benefit of the American life while choosing to live in a different culture. And so, hey, I mean, we figured out a way to do it and it's working. So we hope you guys can too.
Yeah, it would be harder. Our view might change if we were on like the minimum salary in Portugal's 820 euros. So our thoughts might be different if we were like hustling and having to work on that sort of salary. And we're so thankful that, like Calvin said, we figured out a way that we don't have to do that. We can work from the comfort of our own home with our online businesses. And so it feels kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, so we're thankful. Thank you so much for being here. If you made it to the end of this video or podcast, wow, you are amazing.
We
appreciate
5 stars.
You. Yes. And we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe and like for more. Thank you guys. Bye.